Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Aman Singh, and I welcome you all to this interview with my good friend Cliff here. And Cliff is from Colorado, US, and he's the face behind Mindful Architecture. So, how are you doing, Cliff?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for asking. You?
I'm doing amazing. So, for the people who don't know me, this is Aman Singh, and my mission in life is to help a million people get a better life, a better mindset, and better happiness. So, how about you, Cliff? What do you do for a living?
What I do for a living right now, my day job is I'm a shop manager at a manufacturing shop here in Colorado.
Uh huh.
I work for a client who owns the business and just kind of helping
Right.
him be successful. And I always tell people, you know what? I don't mind helping him build his dream. Well, I build mine because he completely supports what I want to do with my life. And he's like, hey, if you need to work here until your stuff takes off, that's
Uh huh.
awesome. So kind of helping each other achieve our goals.
Wow, great. So you just talked about your dream. What is your dream?
My dream is much like yours. I'm out to eventually what I want to build mindful architecture into. What I'm going to build mindful architecture into is a coaching business, mentoring. I want to help people. I want to help people
Yeah.
realize that there is a choice in life. You don't have to just keep living the same life that you kind of found along the way and just kind of happened into because you were too busy trying
That's
to pay
great.
bills
Yeah.
and live life. That there's a better way. There's another way to live your life. There's a way to change your mindset. The whole
Yeah.
concept behind mindful architecture, the name is we are the architect of our own reality. So
That's
we
great.
have the ability and we have the strength to be the architect and design a new blueprint of thought so that we can
Yeah.
start living the life that we deserve and start building that
That's
life that we deserve.
that's so true because we have the power. We have the power to decide what we think. We have the power, like we choose which thoughts prevail and which do not. So we are the creators of our own mindset, right? And let's just get to know you a bit better. You told
Okay.
me that you've been doing like you were into like you are a firefighter too. You've been into firefighter as a paramedic for 19 years. So how
Yes.
was that experience? What is like the most amazing and the most scariest memory of you as being a firefighter?
Well, first off, I was a firefighter paramedic for 19 years. I worked for
Yeah.
ambulance services for about 8 years, and then I worked for a fire department for the remaining 11 years, and drove
Uh-huh.
the big red trucks, fires, did all that kind of stuff. And we also did emergency medical certified paramedic and provided paramedic services to patients and people in car accidents and stuff.
Yeah.
The most rewarding part about the job was helping people, being able to be there at people's time,
Yes.
worst time of their life, time of need, being
Right.
able to be there, with them, let them know everything's going to be okay, that you're doing everything you can to fix the issue that they're going through, whether that be a medical issue, their house just burned down or is on fire, their car wreck, whatever it is, just being able to help those people and comfort those people. And, probably the biggest challenge or fear of that line of work also is obviously the danger involved in it, not knowing if you're ever going to come home or not. But that kind of ties into kind of a big fear that
Uh-huh.
that everybody has, that fear of failure.
Yes.
You have a job like that, there's an enormous amount of responsibility on you to do the right thing all the time, and living with that fear of failure and striving to do your best is a big part of what made it difficult.
Yeah.
But
So basically,
it
okay. So basically, it's like we do not fear failure as much as we fear death, right? Because I've been reading this book by Napoleon Hill, which I suggest you also like. You might want to check it out. It's Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and in this book, Napoleon Hill has a conversation with the devil. Like, how does he control? Like, obviously, I believe that in this world there's evil and there's God. So, how does that evil, work through us? Like, what does the devil do to control us? And in that book they talked about the fear of death. Fear of death is one of the reasons how the devil controls our mind. Like, if we're going to do something, right, we need to know that we're going to save, otherwise we won't do that. I talked about this in another video, and that is so true. I mean, like, if you know you're going to die, you won't do that thing, right? So the fear of death is much greater than we underestimate it to be. Like, fear of failure comes above every failure. So I know I exactly don't know how you like how brave were you to just go into this field and help people. So you're all about helping others, which I respect personally.
Yes,
So
I've done
tell us
times.
about. I cannot hear you. Your voice is breaking actually.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. Is that
Yeah,
any better?
yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. So tell us more about yourself, like how like some of your personal life and how do you want to change this world?
Well, my personal life, like I said, I live in Colorado. I'm working full time at a day job while I try to build my dream. I got two amazing kids, an amazing wife, and they support me in pursuing my dream. And the way I want to change the world is, the thing I've been focusing on most of all lately, well, pretty much through my whole journey, is perspective. I want to change people's
Right,
perspective. I want to change the way that they view the world, they view their thoughts, they view the reality around them, and realize that they create their own reality through their thoughts and through their mind. And there's so many people that are just going through this world on autopilot and not really doing anything, realizing their potential. I'll be at
right,
work. A few of the jobs I've had, I love asking people, whether it's at work or just out in public, sitting down with somebody and saying, what do you want to do with your life? And so many answers I get nowadays is, I don't know. And I'm like, so you're just basically working to survive and have no ambitions to change that or go anywhere
right.
else, and you want to do on your own. You're just getting a job to get a job and pay bills. And that is such a sad way to live, I think, personally, because
Yeah,
everybody has so much greatness in them. Everybody has a purpose in this life, and everybody has a calling in this life that they need to realize that. And when I ask people, there's a question I love to ask people when I get that answer of I don't know. They're just kind of going through life on autopilot is, what would you do with your life if you knew you couldn't fail and if money was not an issue? And that opens
amen.
up a lot of stuff for people because
Right,
their biggest thing is fear of failure
financial.
and finances. So if you
Right,
take those two things out of the equation, what would you do? And that just opens up their mind and say, well, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. And I'm like, well, why don't you do it then? Oh, I don't have the money. I can't afford it. I don't know if I'm good enough to do it. It's like, try it. If
yeah,
you don't try it, you're never going to know. And a lot of times when people start trying stuff and going down the journey of following their dreams, they find that it's not as hard as they thought it was, and that their fears were completely unfounded, and that they do have the strength, they do have the power. It's just the ability and the power to believe in yourself, and to
right,
have faith in yourself, have faith in your dream, and have faith in your power. And that comes from self-realization. And you got to do a self-evaluation of yourself and find out, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are things you need to work on, what are your ambitions, and what do you need to do to achieve it. You just start with little tiny steps. I put a quote out there all the time that Lao Tzu said, that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one
starts with a
step.
single step. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
starts with
that is one of my favorite quotes.
it's amazing, but it's so
Yeah,
true and it's so simple.
yeah, right.
Take a step, just see, and if it doesn't work out,
It
at
doesn't
least you
work out.
tried. Yeah,
No
and
regrets,
another
right?
what I put out there is, I'd rather have tried and failed than to
Right,
succeed at doing nothing.
right. Regret is really a poison. I always tell people that imagine that you're on your deathbed and life is being played in front of your eyes, and you're being able to see every moment of your life. Now you
Hmm.
can, in that moment, you won't be thinking of the things that you did do. You will be thinking about the things that you didn't do, the things that you did not achieve in your life, right?
Yep.
And when you are on your deathbed, you won't have the time or the energy to fulfill those dreams. So how would you feel in that moment? Realize that, just tap into that potential that you have, and just realize that these things, your life is too short to live all the dreams that you have in your life, right?
Yep.
And I love that you quoted Lao Tzu, because that is one of my favorite, like literally one of my favorite quotes. That a journey of a million miles start with a single step. In today's world, people are so afraid, and they have this destination addiction. Like they just want to be in a better place. They just want to be in a better place without going through hell first, right? You cannot be in a good place. You cannot experience the highs before you have known the lows, right?
Yep.
So every journey starts with a single step. Just take one single step, just one single step each day. It's like building a ladder. You cannot reach
Hmm.
the top of your destination until you have actually climbed the first step, right? So take that first step, believe in yourself. And in today's world, people, they do not know themselves. Like, so many years of education, and people are not aware of themselves, who they really are at their core values, their strengths, their weaknesses, the things that they love to do, the things that make them scared, the thing that is out of their comfort zone, right? They are
Yep.
so not aware of these things, and it aches my heart to see that people are not living to their full potential, because everyone in this world has a purpose. We are all being sent in this world with a purpose in life, right? So
Right.
unless and until you do things that make you feel uncomfortable, you won't know what you're good at, right?
Uh huh. It,
So
it,
these are
it's the way we're programmed. We're
yeah,
programmed.
exactly.
We got to go to school. We got to graduate. We got to get a degree. We got to get a job. We got to pay the bills. Then we got to buy a house. Then we
Yes.
got to have a family. Everybody, it's this machine. It's this perfect machine that people are like, well, this is the dream. This is what I'm supposed to do because everybody else is doing it, and they chase the money, they chase the job, and they chase the material things in life, and they never stop and take a moment to say, hey, what about me? What do I want?
That's
You
so
know?
powerful.
And
That's
then
so
they just
powerful.
get further down in their life, and they're like, what am I doing? I am miserable, and I just spent the last 20 years of my life living the same day over and over and over and not being happy. You got to do some self evaluation. You got to do something that helps you find that breakthrough of what do I really want out of this life, so that you're
Yeah.
not sitting on your deathbed saying, man, what if? What if?
I coach people on mindset, right? So I have this terminology like what if mindset, where you think of all the things that you should be doing but you're not. Like, what if this happens? What if I do this and this happens? And instead of inserting that negative what if, just replace it by positive what if. What if,
Yes.
like, for instance, let's say we're talking to a stranger, right? And we go like, what if this person hates me? You, in your mind, you're going like, what if I talk to this person and he just hates me, or he doesn't find me funny? Just replace it with, what if I make a new friend here? What if I can
Exactly.
just transform his life? That what if is so powerful, right?
It is.
And yeah, it is. And it is like, we are programmed to think that if we are being selfish, that's bad. You cannot be selfish in this world, right? What I say, put yourself first, be happy first. Unless and until you are happy, you cannot help others. You cannot, tap into that potential you have and feel the world it actually is. Unless and until you do that, you won't be able to do any of the things. You cannot keep others happy until you keep yourself happy. I
Exactly.
heard I heard one of the talks in which they said that there are two kinds of people. One, the bucket fillers, and the bucket drippers. Right? The bucket drippers are people who just pour and pour and pour in their buckets, and their buckets never gets full. Right? On the other hand, there are people who are bucket givers. Like, they give other people, they fill others buckets, because they are so full of their own emotions, they are so full with themselves that they try to help others, right? So people need to realize that unless and until you become happy yourself first, you have treated yourself with dignity first, others won't respect you, right?
Exactly.
Unless and until you take the step, unless and until you know your self-worth, people won't know it either. It's like going out in the market and asking for respect me, respect me, respect me, when you don't respect yourself. It's like you're
Hmm.
putting your value out there and asking other people, hey, am I cool?
Yeah.
Dude,
Exactly. And
you know your worth.
yeah, I definitely do. And that's something another thing I tell people too. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. In
Yeah,
order to be selfless, you have to be selfish first.
yeah,
Because if you're not good with yourself and you don't know who you are, what you want, what you have to offer, and be completely good with yourself, then
right,
you're not going to be any good to anybody else.
right. Yes. That was an amazing talk. Now let's talk about your journey. Like, just let us know your journey. How is it? Like, how did you, like, you told me that you were an alcoholic. So how did you recover from that? Like, first of all, how did you become an alcoholic?
Oh, geez. Well, I took my very first drink when I was 10 years old at a friend's birthday party, and we decided to test out his mom's alcohol in the liquor cabinet playing a game of Truth or Dare. That's the first drink I remember taking. By the age of 13, I was pretty much drinking on a regular basis. As far as like how I became an alcoholic, I don't know exactly. I don't have an answer for that. I'm not a big believer in, oh, it's because my parents are alcoholics. It's because my brothers that or anything like that. I make my own choices, and I made my choices, and I went down a path that took me on a journey. And there's nothing I regret about that path because it brought me to where I am today. By the age of 13, I was drinking on a regular basis. The thing is, all through my journey, it all seemed normal. It all seemed just fine because everybody else was doing it. The crowd that I chose to hang around with was doing the same thing. So it seemed normal to me. And that all ties into a big belief of surround yourself with people that have the same mindset as you. Well, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Surround yourself with people that have a good mindset and a positive mindset, not people that make you think that bad choices you're making are okay. Went through school, high school, everything like that. I was the one that was throwing the parties on the weekend. All seemed normal. Went off to college. Just pretty much been a heavy drinker all my life. The thing is, when I would go out and party with all my buddies and stuff in college and after college and everything, I wasn't the one that would, go to the party and have a couple beers and then go home and call it a night. I was always the one that I was drinking to get drunk and pass out most of the time. And this continued for a majority of my life. And from the age 13 to 38, 39, it was just normal for me. It's something I did. In the later years, I knew that it was getting really bad and that I was starting to really have a problem and not keep it under control, and tried quitting a few times. And I actually did get sober one time for about 7 months. And that was back in 2011, I think it was. And the second half of 2011. And then at the end of the year, I was like, wow, it's been a really great year. I've done really good. Let's celebrate a little bit. I'll just go get a little bit of beer, and whatever's left over in the morning, I will toss down the drain. Big mistake.
Right.
I don't even remember taking the first drink, to be honest with you. Next thing I knew, my whole world was turned upside down. I had some personal stuff had happened in there that I don't really wish to get into right now, but I ended up in hotels for the next 3 weeks. Living in hotels. My wife and kids were at home, and I went on a 3-week downward spiral to rock bottom. And if anybody's ever seen the movie Leaving Las Vegas, that was me. I'd wake up, I'd start drinking, I'd drink all day, I'd pass out, wake up again, start drinking again. I was taking the ice buckets that they have in the hotel rooms, and I would go fill that with ice about halfway and fill it up with vodka and sit there and drink.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah, and that wasn't all of it. That was just part
The
of the
starters.
day. All the while, I was lying to myself. I was lying to my job. I was lying to my wife as far as like, oh, no, I'm doing good. I'm not drinking at all. And she knew better. And she was always there for me. And I will always appreciate her for that. During that 3-week time, I was in and out of detox 2 or 3 times. A lot of this is kind of blurry for me because it was such a roller coaster ride that there's a lot of pieces of that I don't remember. There was at one point that I went to go down to the liquor store to get some more alcohol, even though I was already drunk, and took my wife's car and drove it through a neighbor's fence and kept going and made it to the liquor store and made it back home. Just stupid decisions. So over this 3-week period, I was in and out of detox 2 or 3 times. The last time that I got out of detox, my family didn't want me going back to the hotel room for obvious reasons. And my mom took me in. And she picked me up. We got back to my mom's house, and I got inside, and she's like, I'm going to go get you some food. What kind of food do you want? And I told her just sandwiches, whatever, lunch meat. And she left to go to the store. And the second she left to go to the store, I hopped on my bank account, transferred the last $10 I had in my account over to my checking account, and walked the 2 blocks down to the liquor store on the corner, bought a big bottle of vodka, and came back to my mom's house. I sat down, I was on the computer trying to check my emails and stuff like that, and I actually picked up the bottle, took a huge swig, and set it down and just looked at it, and I knew right then and there I was done. I was either going to keep drinking and die, because I have no idea how I didn't die in those hotel rooms. I was having seizures from alcohol withdrawals, everything, and there was nobody there, so I have no idea except the grace of God that I'm still alive. And I put that bottle down, I looked at it, and I was like, I'm done. I knew I was done. I knew I hit my rock bottom, and there was nowhere else for me to go except either to die or stop. Called my mom. She was obviously upset that I started drinking at her house. She had been a recovering alcoholic for a few years, and she came back, picked me up. I went from there to my sister's house, and they were amazing and came up with enough money to send me to a 30-day rehab up in Estes Park, Colorado. And I went and spent 30 days up there, and that is the best thing by far that I have ever done for myself. That was a little over 7 years ago. I've been sober ever since. I found my calling. I found a completely new mindset. I found new happiness. I found myself. I found my purpose. I found everything that I've ever been looking for in my life within myself. Even though I always tell people that, you know what, that was the hardest, darkest, most difficult journey I've ever been through in my life, and I wouldn't change a single second of it, because all of that journey, all that hardship, all those challenges that I went through to get sober made me who I am today.
Right. So true. That's so true. And I was actually going to ask you the question, like, when was your enough is enough moment? Like, we all have these moments, right? Like, when I don't know, it's just like an epiphany. Like, you just know that you have to stop. This is the moment. If either you're going to stop or you're going to keep doing that. And it's so inspirational. Like, your story is so motivating. And I tell people, like, I've already told some of my friends about you and how, like, I did not exactly know how did you recover from that thing, that addiction, but now that we all know, it's so inspiring. Like, you know, people get so addicted, and like, I don't know, I've never been I don't drink, so I don't know what that experience is. No, I don't. What that experience is like.
I have a lot of friends that still drink. They're responsible, good social drinkers. I mean, they're the ones that go out to the bar, have a beer or two, and they're like, I got to drive home. And they go home and they're fine. They don't need anything else. For me, it was more.
Right.
You know, I have to have more. I got to keep drinking. I got to keep drinking. And it was that addiction for me. Now, there's people that can drink and they're fine, you know, and I have a lot of respect for them. I tried that, and it doesn't work. They always told me, you know, when I was going through rehab that, you're an alcoholic if you're an alcoholic when, if you're having fun, you're not controlling it, and if you're trying to control it, you're not having fun. So if you're not able to drink just a couple, have a good time, and not feel like I have to have more, you're probably doing pretty good. But yeah, the addiction can it overtakes your whole entire life, and it can ruin you and it can destroy you. But everybody has to make their own choice. Nobody can force them into it. Nobody can make them do it. It has to be. I wouldn't have gone to rehab unless I was ready to. Nobody could have made me do anything. I was ready, so I went. And that's the difficult part about it, especially when you have people, friends that you know that are alcoholics, or you see them struggling with that stuff, is you want so bad to jump in and you just want to make them go, make them get better. You want to help them so bad.
Right.
But until they're ready, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
It's just like bringing the horse to the water, but it depends on the horse if it actually drinks the water or not. You can only bring it to the water, right? You cannot make him drink the water.
And you know, part of my mission and my journey too with this whole mindful architecture and this video that I'm doing with you, I'm so grateful that you have me on today.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, I love your posts. I love your videos, man. They're awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And, that's part of my mission and journey too, is to let people know that they struggle with addiction or are struggling with addiction, that life after addiction doesn't suck. Okay, it's amazing. It's awesome. You can find so much, but that again depends on your perspective. If
Right.
you view the world as, oh my God, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not doing pot anymore. I'm not shooting up heroin anymore. What is my life going to be like? Because that's all I know. Find something else, because there's so much strength and so much potential in every single one of us, and that just dulls your potential, your hope, your ambitions. It kills it.
Uh huh.
And
Right.
life after alcohol, I had the same worries when I got sober. I'm like, man, all I did was go to my friend's house and party and go to the bar and hang out. That's all I did. What am I going to do now? And it took me a while to find my spirituality, to find my calling, to find their own choice. Nobody can force them into it. Nobody can make them do it. It has to be. I wouldn't have gone to rehab unless I was ready to. Nobody could have made me do
Right.
anything. I was
Yeah.
ready, so I went. And that's the difficult part about it, especially when you have people, friends that you know that are alcoholics, or you see them struggling with that stuff, is you want so bad to jump in and you just want to make them go, make them get better. You want to help them so bad,
Right.
but until they're ready, it's not going to happen. It's just not
It's
going to
like
happen.
it's just like bringing the horse to the water, but it depends on the horse if it actually drinks the water or not. You can only bring it to the water, right? You cannot
Yep.
make him drink the water.
And part of my mission and my journey too with this whole mindful architecture and this video that I'm doing with you, I'm so grateful that you have me on today. I
Pleasure's all
love
mine.
you. I love your posts. I love your videos, man. They're
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Thank you so
And
much.
uh, that's part of my mission and journey too, is to let people know that
Right.
struggle with addiction or are struggling with addiction, that life after addiction doesn't suck. Okay, it's amazing. It's awesome. You can find so much, but that again depends on your perspective. If
Right.
you view the world as, oh my God, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not doing pot anymore. I'm not shooting up heroin anymore. What is my life going to be like? Because that's all I know. Find something else, because there's so much strength and so much potential in every single one of us, and that just dulls your potential, your hope, your ambitions. It kills it.
Uh huh.
And
Right.
life after alcohol, I had the same worries when I got sober. I'm like, man, all I did was go to my friend's house and party and go to the bar and hang out. That's all I did. What am I going to do now? And it took me a while to find my spirituality, to find my calling, to find my true passion of what I want to do as far as helping people. And I want to help people not only that are addicts that are struggling with alcoholism, addiction, whatever it may be, to find their calling and find a better life after addiction and in recovery, but also to help people that aren't addicted, that are just stuck in the day-to-day life, that are getting complacent with their life and have done nothing and don't know what they want.
Right. So, if I ask you that, just give one advice for the people who are just starting to quit, for all those people who have addictions and if they want to quit, like what should they do?
Surround yourself with people that support you. Don't give
Right.
up.
Right.
If you're in any kind of program, get a sponsor. You got to have people that'll help you, and you have to have people that'll support you. If I didn't have my wife, my family, my loved ones, friends that stuck around after the addiction, then it would have been a very, very difficult journey. But surround yourself with people that support you and learn to love yourself. That's the
Exactly.
main. Learn to love yourself and learn to forgive yourself.
Exactly. It's like you control yourself, but if you've done something that you did not want to do and now you regret, you know that you can control yourself. It's like you have the power to, do that thing or not do that thing. Nothing is being forced on you. You make a choice in that moment, right?
Yes.
And like, it's so amazing to hear your story and, to see that lives can be transformed. You can change, right? You have the power to change yourself. You have the power to change who you want to become. It's like
Yeah.
people just use that addiction as an alibi. It's like they use it as an excuse to not doing or changing their lives, right? It's like many people are not aware of what they should be doing with their lives, and so they just use their addiction as an alibi to just suck their life into death. That's what I think
They,
it is.
yeah, they can to a certain extent, but on the other hand, man, the addiction and stuff is so powerful that
I
you
cannot hear you. Cliff, I cannot hear you.
can you hear me now? Is that better? Hello?
Hello, Cliff.
Did I lose you?
I cannot hear you.
You
Your
there?
voice is breaking.
Can you hear me now? Is that better at all? Hello?
No, still not better. I can hear you, but your voice is breaking. Yeah, we're back again. Yeah, we're back
Back?
again. And just so you know, I'm so sorry I couldn't hear a word, so you'll just have to repeat if you don't mind.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was going to say, you can hear me good now?
Yeah, everything is good.
Okay, good.
You can go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, the thing with addiction is a lot of times the way it takes hold of you and the way that the power it has over you is, you know, it can be used as an alibi, but it's also, when I was deep in my addiction, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I had to do. I just
Right.
couldn't do it on my own. And so not so much as an alibi, but as a, it's a huge hurdle that can, even if you know what you need to do, what you want to do, what kind of passions you have, if you get so deep in that, you struggle with, it takes control of your life. And even if you have stuff you want to do, you probably won't do it because you're so deep in that, and it's a real tricky subject, and it's a real, not really touchy subject, but people that, and I'm not talking about you here, so please don't take offense to
Yeah,
this, but
no
people that
problem.
have never suffered from addiction
Yeah,
don't understand the power that
exactly.
it has over you.
Exactly.
And I've never seen this from you, and I don't think I ever would, but I've seen videos on any kind of social media. Pick your poison there, but I've seen videos of people that talk about alcoholism, talk about addiction. They're like, just stop, if you just quit. It's not that
It's
easy.
not that easy, bro. It's not that easy.
Trust me, I struggled with it probably for, a good 10 years, knowing I had a problem before I ever got help. It's not that easy. You can't just just quit.
I'm so. It's done.
Why didn't I think of that?
I was drunk once, but now it's all gone.
Yeah, it's not that easy, But yeah, it can definitely be a huge stumbling block for you, a huge speed bump that if you don't get sober, if you don't get over that addiction, if you don't deal with the issues behind the addiction that are causing you to use that as self-medication, as whatever you're using it for, then you're never gonna reach the sobriety. You're never gonna reach your goals and dreams that you want to get out of life.
Right. And we're just coming to the end of this live here, so I just want to ask you two last questions. So, who did you hurt the most in this process?
My wife and kids.
Fair enough. And
They put me through all of it. I know I caused a lot of pain, but now I got the opportunity to correct all that pain and make a better life for me and for them.
right. That's amazing. And I would like to tell you that I know that this is your first time. This is my first time too, but you're doing great, and you just keep on making these videos that you're making. A big shout out to my friend Cliff here. And before we end this live here, I just want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
If let's say if you're in a situation where like your grandchildren are asking you, what is the one thing that I should do with my life, what would your answer be?
You should do with your life. whatever sets you on fire, whatever drives you, whatever you have the hugest passion for, you should follow that. I got 2 kids right now, and they're, well, right now I'm gonna have 2 kids the rest of my life, but um, I have 2 kids. One's 9, one's 11. One loves
Okay.
playing the guitar. One is very artistic. They're complete opposites.
Uh huh.
And I tell them, I'm like, I mean, obviously, I talk to them about a lot of the stuff that I post, and my daughter loves mindful architecture, and she does little drawings and stuff for me to post. But I support them in everything, whatever it is that lights you on fire, whatever it is that's your passion, whether it's
Right.
weaving baskets, whether it's being a garbage man, whether it's being a millionaire, whether it doesn't matter. If you're happy, that's all that matters. Okay, you don't have to be great. Success is a state of mind. Success is a perspective. If your main goal in life is to be a good father, be a good wife, be a good
Right.
husband, be a good mother, be a good whatever, to work that job, to make the money, to pay the bills, there's nothing wrong with that. If that is what makes you happy, do that.
Right.
Okay,
Success is
so
vague. Like if you ask 10 people what the success mean to you, I'm pretty sure we'll have different answers, right? Because
yep,
success for every individual is different. It is so much, it is a vague concept. And it all narrows down to your happiness. Like if you ask a question like, why do you want to do it? Why is that you're doing this? It all narrows down to your happiness, right?
exactly.
So that is what we want from this life. We want to be happy, but it's like we have these filters in our head that are controlling us and stopping us to achieve the life that we want to achieve,
Yep.
right?
And to add on to that, I know we're getting to the end here, but I just want to say this because it made me think of this. Is so I used to be a corrections officer, a sheriff's deputy, and work in the
Uh-huh.
jail.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I had two people in the jail that I knew. One of them was extremely happy, very centered, faithful, spiritual, and always had a smile on their face. Okay, the other one was unhappy, disgruntled. Life sucked. World sucked. Nothing's going right. My life's going to shit. Okay? The happy one was the inmate. The unhappy one was the corrections officer.
Wow.
Okay? Think about that. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter
It's
what
all
you're
in
doing.
the head.
It's your perspective on
Right.
life, okay? One
Right.
guy is free and he's making money, he has a job, he gets to go home every night and he is miserable. And there's another guy that's locked up, completely happy. He's working on himself, working on his life,
Right.
focusing on the future, because he knows that where he's at right now is temporary. So he is preparing himself for when he gets that opportunity to do something with his life. There's a lot of really, really good people in jail.
Right.
There are a lot of good people that they've made bad decisions. They're not all terrible, horrible monsters. They're people. They're humans, and they made a mistake.
Damn, that's powerful. It's like the person who's free is actually in prison, and the person in prison is actually free. I hope that makes sense.
Exactly. Up here.
Exactly. It's all about your perspective, the way you look at life, the way you
Exactly.
like assume life to be. Life will be what you want it to be, and all you need to do is make that mental switch.
Yep.
This is Aman Singh, and I'm so thankful for Cliff for doing this interview, for sharing his story. And I know there were a lot of that. It was a lot of value that you've provided us with, and it was an amazing experience to go live with you here and to hear your story. And I'm pretty sure the world will love your page, love what you're doing, support you in your mission. And I just want to say, hey, from my side to your family, and I'm wishing you all the best for your future, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. You have an amazing night.
Thank you so much. Good night. Bye bye. Peace.
Peace.
So, guys, this was Cliff from Mindful Architecture. Just go, I'll be attaching. I have actually provided you with the story. Just click on that and follow him. A big shout out, and have a great day ahead. Peace.